We have returned. So we are up to Nameless King. A very exciting part of the game, I think. Very challenging boss, and it'll be a real test of this playthrough. So last time, probably spent an hour just sort of messing around with this first phase, chatting a little bit about stuff. I think this time the goal is going to be to learn the moveset of the first phase. I really feel like this is a lot like, what's it called? Four Kings. Finding it very difficult to judge distance. Ooh, that was really close. Getting one hit there, not bad. Just dodging a bit early there. So we won't heal just yet. Okay. So it would be safe there to attack. Bit annoying getting hit there. I feel as though if you can get to the other side of the dragon's head, usually you're safe. The one thing I realized as well, I don't believe I have Lloyd's shield ring equipped. Okay, good save there. Yeah, not getting any hits, which is a bit unfortunate. So not too bad for a little first attempt there. I think there's one thing that we've yet to see today, which is he does. Actually, there's two things. He does a quick takeoff, where he does a little bit of a charge at you with his spear thing. Easily mistaken for a regular takeoff. So. Ooh, interesting. Actually, I don't know why I have RTSR on. Lloyd's shield ring. Okay. This might even let us tank all the hits in the first phase. Haven't tried out Lloyd's shield yet. But the goal is going to be to learn this first phase. Hopefully to the point where I feel as though that was a bit earlier as well. I think I'll be confident doing it taking no damage. Because then I'll be able to put on my damage rings in place of these durability rings. So this is his Calamite attack. I want to find the very edge of this. Okay, it's just missing there. We will have to investigate if it's possible. Damn. We'll have to investigate if it's possible to actually punish that. So 3-hit combo there is interesting. I don't think we've experienced that before. Usually when he does that big overhead slam, you're right to do, you're sort of right to punish, and you can do it twice. Nice. Yeah, interesting. Really interesting stuff. I think I'm dodging to the right there. I thought that was how to dodge it, but I guess not. So if you're close enough, you can definitely punish that 3 times. So there's the triple combo as well, which is interesting. Alright. Just a bit early with the dodge there, but we did see the hit coming. It's sort of, it's not frustrating or annoying to be hit by those things that we kind of know. Like we see the telegraph and we plan, okay, I'm going to dodge now. There's nothing to get annoyed by, I don't think, because you figured it out. It's just a case of getting into practice with it. You know, you do it enough times and you're really going to get the timing down. So you definitely can throw down a punish. I actually really felt the controller vibrate there. I reckon we were a frame away from being hit. But yeah, I'm definitely seeing a lot of reasons why switching to DPS eventually will be really good, at least for the first phase. We're not going to do that. We're not going to go to DPS ring setup unless phase 2 is realistic to do no hit. I'm pretty confident we'll get there for phase 1. Okay, that's his Calamite attack. Nice. Yeah, too early. I think to some extent, for all his attacks, I do need to wait for the swing. He does have a couple of delayed attacks, so that big sort of overhead one, that slam that comes straight down, and his lightning attack are a bit delayed. He does have a couple of faster swipes. Well, he has one fast swipe that's followed up by another one. But yeah, that overhead slam, have to really try and focus on that, because that's killed us, I think, the last 2 attempts. Probably no reason not to Warcry here. Yeah, so another 3-hit combo there, which is weird. I feel as though yesterday he wasn't really throwing that at us. That's right. It looks like the 3rd strike, if he goes for it, is his big overhead slam. So yeah, we're just getting hit consistently by that the last few attempts, so definitely something to focus on. I think a big part of it is going to be setting myself up to actually see the attacks, because they're all telegraphed. They all look different from each other. It's just the timing. So it'd be a great benefit to see. Nice, 3 hits there is good. Swords up. Okay. Definitely getting used to this flame attack actually. He kind of rears. Nice. Okay, so we'll just prod it into phase 2 here. Really not going to try and take it too seriously. I want to get the first phase down, really down pat. You know, probably to the point where I can get through it 85% of the time. We'll watch a cutscene here, but hopefully we'll be able to skip it. I'm keen to see how much damage I do here, and I do want to see a bit of his moveset. Last time he just hit us a couple of times and we died, so... Okay. Interesting. So it looks like we really... That's a really slow maneuver there. Okay. Yeah, not too much damage there. He seems to have a more resistance and a potentially bigger health bar than the dragon. But not too concerning. We're not powered up here. And even without putting on the DPS ring setup, we will be able to increase our DPS a little bit. If I think that it's going to be way too hard to no-hit the whole thing, then, and it might well be just because of the length of the fight, then we can use resins and we can use Warcry. Yeah, interesting. So I'm going to have to play around with that, because that's hitting us pretty consistently today. Villager yesterday was a bit better. Swords up. Okay. Getting that Q today a lot better, which I'm happy about. I don't know about going for 3 hits there. It's very difficult to see what he follows up. Let's try and go for 2 and back out. Well, go for a bit of damage. Not according to plan. Yeah, not nice. So I was rolling into that attack. I've been trying the side and it's just not working, so I don't know just yet. I think what I need to do with that attack is move into him as soon as he starts doing it, like to under the dragon's neck, and just do the regular dodge timing for it. so that I'm on the other side of the dragon at the end of my dodge. I feel as though that's what was happening last time, when I was dodging it more consistently. Okay, so no overhead slam there. So go for 2, and then we'll back out a bit. Doing a bit of weird stuff there. It's kind of difficult to read that until Casey's gone for a hit. Back out a bit. No overhead slam. Safe to hit. Good. Finger slipped. Cool. So that was a no damage first phase. Decently happy with that. There's a bit of weirdness, but you know, good that I can skip that. Ooh, big lad. So I don't think I've seen that just yet. But yeah, we're not going to take the second phase very seriously. In fact, so what's the time? 2:12. I'll probably be streaming for another couple of hours. Really keen to, you know, start feeling as though I can get through the first phase consistently. There are a lot of attacks that can one-hit me. Even with this defensive setup on. With 26.5, I might be able to throw on a bit of armor and stay on under 30%. Okay, yeah, so that strategy I think is decent if I can call it fast enough. What I did there was I sprinted. I sprinted towards the dragon and got underneath it, because the hitbox is going to stay on one side. Feels like I'm going to get an early stagger here as well. Been throwing down a lot of punishes consistently. This is be a bit weird, interacting with the terrain a bit. Damn. So just not fast enough getting under the dragon there, but a decent attempt, you know, a really good attempt. And I think I've proven that we have a strat for that attack. I think I just hesitated there on the... I thought, it's interesting, I actually thought that I was close enough to the dragon that I didn't need a sprint. So my instinct just told me not to. But I think I do have to. And potentially I need to favor, you know, dodging into that attack. If you dodge right, you don't get hit properly, but you still take damage from the AoE. If you dodge in and you're still on the same side of the dragon, I think you take the full hit. So it's really a matter of being under him. Okay. So just to really, you know, just late on the reaction there. But so far phase 1 seems like a really decent fight in terms of design. I'm really liking it. I think there's, you know, some decent callbacks from previous dragon bosses, Calamite, which is really nice. Okay, so good that he started with that again. Happy with that. Good to get practice in. And it's a good place to actually practice because I feel as though you get the least amount of time to react because you start so far away from him. No overhead slam. Take off. Yeah. So going against the rules there, I might get punished for it here. So we'll just go for 2 this time. We'll take off. Nice. So we're going to second phase, no damage. That's interesting. That's a cool kind of attack when he grabs it 2 hands. I feel as though that was I think it was a 1-hand swing, and then he grabs it with 2 hands, and it's a bit delayed. So it looks like his second phase moveset is definitely going to be a little bit more nuanced than his first phase moveset, but like I've said before, I think we're not going to worry too much about it at this stage. We're just going to focus on getting through this first phase nice and consistently. Because the last thing I want to do is kind of make it through the first phase consistently. But, dodging blind there. Really bad position. Overhead slam, yep. Oh, ooh. Yeah, okay, I deserve that. So I ended up too far away from him there, and what happened is I can actually kind of show you guys what happened. So when you are sprinting, I'll get to a better position. When you are sprinting, and let's just say we're sprinting like this, there's a really big delay when you try and change directions, and a delay in which you can't really do anything, and it sucks up a lot of your time, and that's what was happening there, unfortunately. I think that was mostly a product of starting that fight out in a fairly poor position. I think in favor of the punish, I actually need to go for position. I need to trade damage for position in that kind of situation in the future. Because if he starts doing weird stuff, and I can't see it, it's really going to hurt me. So I can punish this. His sword isn't pointing up in the air. He's going to take off. Punish that. Ooh, try at least. Back out a bit. Breath attack. Get out of there. Best I don't gas myself there. He did something a bit weird there. A bit of a weird movement. Okay, can't. Careful there. No follow-up. Breath attack. Just go for one, I think. No follow-up again. Breath attack again. Get out of there. Yeah, really important I don't gas myself as well. He hasn't been following up this round very much. Okay, phase 2, and that'll be a no-hit. Just a bit of a gratuitous war cry there. Cool. I think what's going to happen is a majority of the time in this second phase, I'm going to have to attempt to be as probably a bit closer to him to stop him doing those big scary one-hit attacks. We have tested it, like in the last attempt of the last day we did this, we can tank hits, even without Lloyd's shield ring on, we can actually tank some of his second phase hits. It's just going to be a matter of really avoiding that one. It's going to be a really important one to avoid. Oh damn. I accidentally hit the right bumper at the same time as dodge, and yeah, that's right. Okay. What's he doing? The interesting sort of benefit of going to a hitless ring setup is that I'll be putting the Karthus Blood Ring on, which gives me significantly more iframes. I don't actually know how many more, but more. And this game's already pretty generous with iframes. Ooh, yeah. Haven't been hit by that in a bit, but eh, is what it is. Again, it's not too frustrating. I think it's not like a sticking point of the first phase. I think the sticking point still is that overhead electric attack. Probably both overhead attacks, actually. The fortunate thing about his landing attack is that we get to practice it so much. He consistently does it as his first set of maneuvers. Ooh, just gassed myself. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I think gassing myself is really bad. It just doesn't give me the flexibility to use sprint, which is what I really need when he does that attack. He's being a bit weird here. Yeah, okay. But it's good to see that sort of stuff. Like that's the kind of stuff that, you know, if I get down being able to do this 85% of the time, you know, those kind of weird maneuvers that he does where the camera kind of messes with me is what's going to be that kills me. So it's good to see it. And if we can kind of figure out some good habits to get into to reduce the danger of when he is weird, that'll be really good. So I'm not going to gas myself. Okay, so it's safe to punish. Breaking a rule there, but I wasn't going to gas myself, so... Dangerous. Yeah, much too early. Bit annoying being killed by that twice in quick succession. I'll try not to let that tilt me, but yeah. These attempts are still good practice though. Like I'm not healing that much anymore, which is really good. That's what I want. That's sort of like the first goal, first stepping stone for this. Ooh, damn, I didn't even dodge that. I think that proves that, you know, my intuition about that was my circle, my movement is actually what's keeping me safe, rather than the dodge. So hit twice, bugger off. Okay, Calamite attack. I don't think we're going to be able to punish that. It's interesting that he follows that up. I'm not really sure what the deal is there. Like, it feels as though you should be underneath him, like you should be running back towards him. Danger. Alright, we're getting hit by that, you know, every now and then, whatever. I think that was by the skin of my teeth. But I'm happy with that, you know, we were kind of caught out of position with that one, so... So if we can get 2 here, that'll be second phase. Wasn't no damage, but, you know, decent. Okay. Yeah. Still not really wanting to take that second phase very seriously. Maybe just trying out different things here and there. For that one, I decided, well, instead of sprinting towards him, I'll kind of sprint to the right and towards him. And that felt pretty interesting. The big thrust attacks, that's usually a really good way of handling it. Safe to hit. Get out of there. Calamite attack. We're gonna sprint into him, so he'll probably do a weird follow-up. Okay. Follow up. Safe. So the reason I know it's safe is he doesn't have his sword poking up, but this could be interesting. Yeah, okay. Bit of an early dodge there, that's unfortunate, but... The more I get to practice that, the better, I think. I think I had the right idea sprinting towards him, but I just have to be really careful and potentially favor dodging a little bit further right when he does that to try and get on the other side of the dragon. But that was a half decent attempt, I think. So, you know, definitely pretty happy with these attempts. I think we've seen everything in the first phase, and I think we've become more or less comfortable with everything in the first phase. Safe. Bit greedy going there for the second. It was a bit too far away. Not too bad. Not ideal though. I think that's going to be a really big sticking point for trying to do the first phase hitless. Is consistently dodging that properly. Because obviously when I'm on RTSR follow-up, I won't be able to just dodge that and take the AoE. Dangerous. Safe. Every time I successfully dodge that, it always feels like the same thing. Run to the neck and dodge in, like dodge to the right. Nice. So not a no-hit phase 1, but still a decent phase 1. So the timing for that is a little bit like delayed. Yeah, okay. So there was just a bit of a panic roll stored there. It seems like he wants to throw down quite a bit of stamina in the second phase. So I think my expectation needs to be that he's just going to keep hitting, and we're going to have to look for an indication that he's about to stop and go for something else, like break his combo, and that's going to be when we can hit him. And that'll definitely happen because we saw that, you know, with his big sort of swoop in attack. It has a really long wind down. And if we end up close enough to him, pretty confident that we'll be able to dodge it. So he's being weird here. It's always good to be cautious. Try and figure out what he's doing. So in that case, trading damage for position was what was happening there. Follow up. Safe. Well, I mean, would have been if I could hit. Okay, we'll back out. Okay, so it's getting a bit weird there. Like that's, you know, it is what it is there, but we can heal at least. But yeah, him hitting the wall there kind of fucked things up a little bit. Dangerous. Not good. Whoop, stored hit. Not nice. Yeah, this fight's been a bit weird because of how close he is to that wall. Back out. Nice. So we'll be going to phase 2 again. Ooh, maybe not. Oh, lucky. Yeah, okay. Let's just back out a bit here. Dangerous. Alright. So definitely a really unclean phase 1. You know, we'll get those, and we're learning a bit more about the fight. We know that when he takes it close to the fog wall, the fight becomes extremely dangerous. Alright. So he's got a couple of AoE type attacks. So that looks like something we can punish. Interesting, interesting. So nothing there seems too devastating, which is good. It is making me doubt a no-hit though, because there seems to be quite a bit, but it's just going to depend on how efficient we become at the first phase, and really get to learn how deep his phase 2 is. So we'll see. I'm not entirely unconvinced. By no, by doing it no damage, but yeah, it definitely seems like that attack is uber dangerous if I'm a bit too far away from him. I'm definitely thinking that if I'm too far away from him, I actually just need to remember to dodge backwards. That's quite dynamic though, but not out of the question in terms of trying to learn it. Dancer was very similar to that. I feel as though you had to sort of respond to her differently, depending on what she's doing. Okay, dangerous. But we saw it coming nice and early and we were quite close. So, yeah, we were able to get right on the other side of the dragon. See if it's safe. It is safe. Nice. So let's go to phase 2. See what he does. Interesting. Alright, well, I think what we're starting to learn there is he definitely has clear attacks that I think you can tell as soon as he starts winding them up that they're going to be the ones that you can punish. I do know that bosses, like Champion Gundyr is a really good example of where, you know, you think it's safe to attack, but actually he's got a follow-up under his sleeve. So we'll have to investigate that here. Dangerous. Does he follow up? No. Okay. Third one there, greedy. Don't want to get into the habit of doing that. Nice. So no damage to phase 2. Yeah, I mean, at least that attack's telegraphed, but it's just going to take a little bit of time to get used to the dodge timing for it. We could potentially think about swapping out a ring for, and I don't really know which one, potentially steel protection for Thunderstone Plate. So that's not an attack he does very often. Just go for 2. Ooh, bit weird. No follow-up. Damn. Taking off. Okay. That was a little bit weird. That was early, but I didn't get punished for it. Okay, what is he gonna do? Dangerous. That camera was really nice, actually, pointing directly upwards. Okay, I think this will be a phase 2. Yeah. No damage phase 1. Very happy with that. I feel as though this phase 1 isn't too difficult. Ooh, nice follow-up. Follow-up kind of looks like the wind down for that attack, but what we'll probably have to do is learn what his follow-ups look like after different types of attacks. But I feel as though he's thrown that one at us before. And intuition kind of tells me that if we dodge kind of backwards for his first lunge, he probably will consistently give that to us, because that seems like a short distance closer of his for when I'm directly in front of him. So there might be like a trigger for it. Okay, yeah. So just trying to get a little bit too fancy there with the camera. That's alright, we'll re-rack. Safe. Does he follow up? Yes. Always good, I think, when he follows up with that, to stay on direction. Safe, if I can get to it. Nope. Safe. Okay, so what is he gonna do? Safe. Very early riposte there, stagger. It doesn't really matter when that happens. In fact, it's probably better if it's earlier in the fight, because you lose a bit of DPS, I reckon. Probably, nah, okay, alright. I thought that I might have been able to take him to second phase there. Does he follow up? No. Damn. So at least we get to practice that. That was nice. Nice little bonus there. It's always good to practice that attack. So let's see what he does. He's being weird. That was really weird. I don't know what that was. Okay. So that was kind of cool. I think that was a new attack that he started off with there. I think this is going to be a case very similar to sort of Dancer, where the first two phases are really different. And the good thing is with Dancer, the first phase was actually pretty difficult to learn, and this one has been a lot faster to learn. We're not perfect with it yet, but I feel as though we're pretty good. I don't think there's anything too weird that I'm really super concerned about. Okay, Calamite attack. There's a potential for him to do weird stuff after this. Yeah, so this is the attack that he'll often do. Alright. Well, you know, I'll take that, but not ideal. I think the intuition that we were too far away was correct though. Which is good, and we sort of turned back. But there's probably quite a few more frames there where we have leeway to react properly to it if we're too far away. Okay, so what is he gonna do? Safe. I think I'm a bit too far up on the neck there. Does he follow up? No. Okay, so it'll be a phase 2. Alright. So yeah, it looks like, it does actually look like if you're in front of him, he'll really want to throw that, that follow-up jab at you. So that's good to know. But yeah, it's interesting, so dance for first phase. And probably a few other bosses. Actually, yeah, so dance first phase. Where as soon as you enter the fog wall, that sort of transition period between before the fight and when the fight really begins, and then Champion Gunbeer's transition into phase 2 are good examples of where it's just like a phase transition that is very difficult to learn, and I feel as though that's what we're going to have this. So we're going to have to learn a really good set of strategies to get through that transition. Because he has so much distance on us to start with. So that's way too greedy there, I really shouldn't be doing that. Calamite attack. So he's likely to follow this up with his... okay, so he didn't do it there, that's alright. Dangerous. Okay, back out. Does he follow it up? No. Alright. I was kind of expecting the breath attack there, but we didn't get it. That's alright though. We saw what he was doing and we reacted. Okay, still just, I don't know what it is, but I'm getting weirdly greedy. This might be straight to phase 2. Yep. No damage there again. Very tasty. I think the dodge timings are a little bit earlier than what you think they are. There's some AoE associated with that attack. Okay, that was a late heal. Ooh, very lucky there. Not much damage on the riposte. So that secondary dodge there was because I was expecting an AoE. Okay. Alright, well I think we've learned a little bit about his basic moves, which is that the dodge timing is much earlier than kind of what you think it is. Like as soon as he starts winding it up, you should be thinking dodge. And I think there's a couple of exceptions to that rule, but I think they have tells. I think they have slower windups. I think when he grips his shaft with two hands, that's a really good indicator that it's going to be a bit of a slower timing. But yeah, that seemed decent. Once again, though, I think that consistently getting through that phase transition is going to be the real challenge. Does he follow up? Yes. It kind of feels like to me that I will be able to do it no hit, but I don't think that's going to be a story for today. I think most probably I'm just going to try and master the moveset, and then when when I feel like there's nothing weird, when I feel as though there's nothing weird that'll throw at me that is just like really consistent that I can't avoid, and it's happening every fight. If there's nothing like that, I'm pretty, like, even if, alright, so not nothing like that, but if I'm getting a good deep no damage run 50 to 85% of the time, I'm probably keen to chuck on my damage rings and go full RTSR mega mode. Because 85% of the time, deep run, you're probably gonna, like, you take that damage and you're probably looking at a no damage run, like with a higher DPS. I definitely think his standard hits in phase 2 are doable. A good example of a boss which I think is artificially inflated in terms of its, well, not artificially, it's sort of inflated by one weird thing, is Gundyr. Okay, yeah. Too early of a dodge there. That's right, that's right. Take it. Yeah, Champion Gundyr with his donkey back kick and his what is it called? His war stomp. If he was only doing one of those, I think I could no damage that pretty easily. I don't think it'd be a big deal. It wouldn't be like first try or anything, it'd take a bit, but I think it'd be realistic. But I think I was part of the way of determining a strategy to differentiate between those two attacks. And a big part of it was learning what triggers, like how those two trigger. Because they look the same, but they have different triggers. But we'll focus on this boss now, I think. Okay, so what is he gonna do? Nothing. Missed. You're gonna miss some hits if you're not using lock on. That was a better timing for the dodge. That's unfortunate, but okay, yeah. So the weirdness of that kind of did us no favors there. We couldn't really see what he was doing. He saw the sword pointing overhead and just did a panic roll. But it's just testament to how much position really matters in this fight. Ooh. Didn't get the dodge there. This is a bit weird. Kind of was able to walk right over that, which is surprising. That must be a really rare attack. Follows it up. Okay. So he doesn't normally follow it up with that, which is interesting. So he's thrown a couple of weird things at us, but that's alright. I think that I think if he does that, it's just going to be a different timing. I don't think we'll worry about that too much, honestly. You know, our goal isn't really to get, you know, 100% perfect 100% of the time. I don't think that's really realistic. Even if you look at things like speed runs or no-hit runs, there's usually some kind of uber careful or uber cheesy strategy that they use. So there's no follow-up there, so I'll just heal. But yeah, there's some either uber cheese like interesting cautious strategy, which I don't love. That's not really what I'm looking for here. I am looking to kind of have fun, and I think one of the things that I really want to do actually is I want to go back to Dark Souls Remastered and learn how to do Bed of Chaos without save scumming and without the range cheese, like the firebomb cheese. I'd still like to do that actually, because I haven't done it before. So I misread that again, which is unfortunate, but managed to get the dodge last minute. Does he follow up? Yes. Okay, so what is he going to do here? Safe. Safe. Okay. Greedy again, but look, I mean, it seems to be working. Alright, so what is he gonna do? Nothing. Nice. I think this will be phase 2. So we're not going to get too cocky with phase 2. What we want to do is we want to focus on getting this phase transition correct, because that seems to be when he's at his most dangerous. Okay, so that's a really slow follow-up. Yeah, that's the kind of thing we want to see though. It looks like that's going to be a regular contender for a first attack. And consistently triggering that is going to be good, and we'll figure out the optimal strategy. I'm pretty happy with moving back away from him, like locking on, moving back away. I think it's just giving me an extra few frames to react. I feel as though sprinting directly towards him, well, we can try that at some stage, if we start really getting sort of happy to play around with it. But, okay, so what is he going to do here? Could be weird. Nothing. Yeah, we can start playing around with it, but I think learning what's right for us is going to be important, and just sort of like picking a strategy and trying to perfect it. So that was a follow-up that I wasn't expecting, but that's okay. The more weird stuff like that I see, the better prepared I'll be for it if it happens again. Bit early, but I think you get quite a bit of opportunity to dodge that. Alright, so it could be weird here. No. Camera was a bit weird though. That was also a bit early. Gotta work on that. I think that was a bit better. Alright. Damn. Follow up. Nice. So what is he gonna do? Dangerous. Shit. Yeah, okay. Much too early there. I think, you know, a few more frames of running and a dodge would have been nice, but that's right. That was pretty deep. Can't complain with that. I think it's probably going to be a good time, yeah, to really start focusing on phase 2 and seeing what we can learn about it. So I think our focus does need to become that phase transition. That is a rare attack. I do anticipate that I'll probably be killed by it if I go to RTSR. Dangerous. But nice. Perfect amount of sprinting there, I think. Safe. So what is he gonna do? Safe. Damn it. It's alright. Dangerous. Getting the riposte during the fight is nice. I think finishing the fight with a riposte is probably the worst because you might lose a little bit of the damage. I do need to remember though that he will get up and follow that up quite quickly. Nice, so no damage phase 1 there. Okay, panic heal here. Okay, we'll take that. I think that that was a too late of a dodge. Yeah, he's a strong dude. Welcome back on in. Yeah. So I think we, I don't know how long you've been watching, but I think a lot of phase 1 has been solved. there's still a bit of weirdness, like he'll have some weird follow-ups, and even with this defensive ring setup I have, he'll still one-hit me with quite a bit of his attacks. So it's still dangerous. I don't anticipate I'll get through it, you know, super consistently, but I think at this stage, I'll probably get through it enough to start learning Phase 2. I had one really good Phase 2, where I think I got him maybe to 2/3 health. I think the trick with a lot of his basic attacks is going to be to dodge a bit earlier than you think, because they're so fast. Like when he swipes, they're super fast. His Calamite attack, and sometimes he'll follow up with a like he'll jump into the air and do an attack. Not this time though. So what is he doing here? Dangerous. But yeah, what we want to really work on, like I don't really want to focus too much on the actual Phase 2, I want to focus on the Phase 2 transition, where you start like so far away from him. He has some weird attacks. Nice, so I think this will be a Phase 2. Haha, what's tempo? Yeah. So some of the attacks have some of the attacks definitely have different dodge timings. Just kind of lucky there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so those ones, for example, are a bit slower than some of his other ones. I have a feeling, though, that the tell for the timing, like is it a slow timing or is it a fast timing, is whether or not he's two-handing. Yeah, I think that's going to be the tell. But like I said before, I think, you know, one step at a time. I don't want to get too hyper-focused on learning the meat of the fight. I just want to learn that first transition. I don't know how long you've been in here for, but I likened it a little bit to Champion Gundyr phase transition. That can be pretty difficult. That was quite difficult to learn, actually, his phase transition. Because he'll kind of start, if he starts with his charge attack, the big slash he does at the end of the charge does one-shot you at this level. And it's just a matter of learning how to manage it. I do probably need to stop going for 3 there, because it makes it a lot harder to see how he's going to follow it up. Does he follow this up? No. Okay, so you can always do something weird here, but not this time. Nice. Whoop, might have a stored attack. No, okay. Accidentally hit RB. I do actually need to remember, I kind of missed it there, but after the riposte, he does like to follow up sometimes, and I missed it there. So I've got to be more careful. Alright, so this will be a phase 2. Oh, no? Okay. Alright. Good. Nice, okay, that's it. Alright. Okay. So I don't actually, even though that was obviously terrible, I did delay my dodge there a little bit. I was ready for a bit of a delay, but it's not as delayed as what I was getting ready for. Because I saw the two-hand and I'm just like, oh, okay, this is going to be a bit slower. I'm very happy that, so if I compare this to Dancer, I feel as though Dancer's phase 1 is much harder than this phase 1. And that made learning phase 2 Dancer just a nightmare. It just took so long to learn phase 1 of that fight. And then phase 2 is hard as well. But this one I think is a little bit more forgiving in phase 1. Like, still pretty hard. And definitely have to, you know, like, know how to control the right thumbstick quite confidently. Like, my finger normally is on the B button. In this fight, it's pretty consistently on the right thumbstick. So I only hit twice here. Be able to see in a little bit better. He's gonna take off. Safe. Does he follow up? No. He has some really weird, like, you know, stumble animations that seem like the start of an attack, like that right there. Which is kind of annoying to have to figure out. Mouse and keyboard, interesting. I have watched Dark Souls 2 mouse keyboard playthrough, and that blows my mind. Huh. Well, one day I might have to give it a go, but yeah. But yeah, I can see what you mean, because, you know, you're realistically only have one directional kind of thing with a mouse. All right. Okay. So pretty nasty. All right. I think that has an AoE associated with it. Yeah, I think that has an AoE associated with it, and it always trips me out when he does that attack where he sort of moves off a little bit, because I don't know where the AoE is. I'm not even sure there is an AoE, but I swear I've been hit by the wind before. That wasn't too bad. I think that the phase transition there, I was a little bit better prepared for the follow-up to his first thrust. Like I kept my distance a little bit and I was ready to dodge it. Not perfect though, I think there was one unnecessary dodge. Okay, so he could do something really weird here. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah. And that's just gonna be part and parcel for this first phase. Sometimes he's just gonna do weird stuff. I think that thrust attack he does is probably gonna get me a few times. It usually doesn't, but he doesn't do it often enough, in my opinion. It's more of a rare attack. That might be a function of how I'm playing. Maybe if you stand at a different distance, he does it more often. But I tend not to see it very often. But yeah, mouse and keyboard, I think that's very impressive for a game like this. The other weird one, which isn't a function of the hardware you use, but it's a mod. There's a first-person mod for Dark Souls, which just seems utterly crazy. I would not want to do that. So he could jump up in the air here. That's been a really hard one to learn how to do. Learn how to dodge the electric overhead attack. But he gives you a bit of time to kind of run underneath him. Alright, poorly timed there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair enough. I never really grew up playing PC games that much. I did like to play them occasionally. A little bit at school, actually. Used to do a lot of, whenever we got the chance. There was like a file going around. I don't know if it was a rip-off file or if it was a legit thing that Bungie or whoever was making Halo at the time released. But it was just a Blood Gulch PvP file. And we used to play that a lot. And that was probably, you know, maybe once a month, and the most experience that I really got with mouse keyboard style gameplay. Quite a few of my friends that sort of lived near me had consoles, and just used to go over to their place and play a ton, and sort of just when I was able to get into gaming properly, it was just what I was more comfortable with. I would like to get a PC though, and be able to play modded versions of this game. I think that was a really early dodge, but maybe my positioning was good enough to keep away from him. Like I was far enough under the dragon to keep away from it. Right. Dangerous. Ah, that's annoying. That's gonna really suck, that attack, if I decide to throw RTSR on for this. Just sometimes getting stuck in the AoE of it. But I don't know, this is a really long fight. I don't know if using RTSR is really the play. I mean, I would kind of like to try it though. I just think that getting through phase 1 consistently is going to be a little more rare. Well, it's going to reduce a little bit. So what's he going to do? Very dangerous. Yeah, I think potentially both cases there, I'm just nowhere near, this could be dangerous. Just go for one. I'm not close enough to him. I need to be closer. I think there's a new message. Oh, what is he doing? What weirdness is this? This is just odd. I think I might be at the edge of the arena, and he's being a bit weird. Even ending up here is strange. Okay. So I can surely be forgiven for that. Usually he doesn't follow up. Alright. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. I think I don't know about Wolfenstein, but I think you can play some of the really early Quake games on Xbox Game Pass now. I'm thinking about subscribing to Game Pass again, so that I can play Starfield. I just don't think I'll do it. I don't think I'll do that yet. I'm kind of getting. I'm trying to stay away from spoilers. That was nice and deep. I'm trying to stay away from spoilers, but my understanding so far is that. Actually, I won't say anything because maybe you know as well. Getting 2 hits in there was nice. Usually it's only one when he does the third attack. Ooh. Interesting that that was a one-shot. I don't know why. It's a bit weird. Usually that wouldn't kill me, I don't think. Yeah, just trying to play around with getting closer to him there. So when he does his little takeoff thing, just trying to get closer to where he lands. So that I can react, like if he does the big electric attack, I can kind of, I'm in a little bit of a better position. So is this going to be safe? Yes. 2 in a row that he's got me with that. Bit unfortunate. Not frustrating though. I think that, like, I know how to dodge that attack. That was also a bit of an early dodge, but I was far enough under him. That was a better dodge timing. So what has he got for me? Breath attack. No follow-up? No. The depth perception can sometimes be a little bit like Four Kings. It can be a bit hard to know that you're whether or not you're going to hit him. Safe. I feel as though it has gotten a lot better since when I started the fight. Ew. Don't like being hit by that. Very demoralizing. Does he follow it up? Yes. So sometimes he follows that up as well, and it really puts me off. But yeah. Nice. Not a perfect phase 1. I feel as though that could have been a bit faster. I don't know, yeah. So he was two-handing there, but that was better. That's what we need to focus on. Working on this transition. I don't expect to get this today. I think there's a lot more for him to show me in his phase 2. But I definitely don't think we'll start doing RTSR runs. I think my goal is to get super comfortable with the phase transition and really start learning the second phase today. Like I've got about an hour left to stream, and yeah, we'll just push and see how much we can learn. Does he follow this up? Yes. Yeah, I kind of felt that one coming. I kind of hesitated on the B button, didn't start sprinting properly. This area was really cool, I think. Especially the first half of it, I really quite enjoyed. There was a stretch that was very, very frustrating. Once you kill Ancient Women, you get to that bonfire, and then the stretch from that bonfire to the next bonfire was very, very annoying. I'll have a look at the message soon. This statue being here is a bit weird. It's gonna make looking at what he's doing even worse. That's better. It's always nice when they destroy the terrain for you, like Manus. Alright, what's it gonna do? Nothing. I haven't been war crying in this phase 1. I don't think it's necessary. Eventually I think what's going to have to happen, especially if I keep the defensive rings on, I'm going to have to use the war cry in the second phase. Because I'm doing like 195, 200 between that in damage, which doesn't seem like enough. I'm really not sure what his strategy is here, but this is some nice RNG for me. Yeah, I think anything with like 2 really big phases is going to be tough. Come on, do something interesting. Alright. Well, I asked for it, so... But that was the same follow-up that he sometimes does to his standard thrust. So there's nothing weird there. But it looks like I'm going to be seeing that follow-up a lot in the first part of that second phase. Especially if I end up in front of him. I suspect that if you get good enough and dodge into his first thrust, like if you just really know the timing right, you can most probably really avoid that. To gas myself there, that's never good in this fight. I'm very thankful that this first phase doesn't have anything weird like, you know, Osiris's charge in it. You know, that's that kind of nonsense. Like, it feels well enough designed not to be uber frustrating, whereas Osiris, you can learn that fight perfectly and then just get done by a charge that goes too far. Ugh. When you're really close to being hit by that attack, you can actually feel it in the controller, which is quite cool. Ooh, a bit close there to his head, his face. I definitely have died a few times to that breath attack. Nice. this should be a no damage phase one. Yeah, I mean, if that charge attack had like a proper telegraph, sure. Like, you know, it'd actually probably be a really enjoyable fight. Or if they decrease the distance he can charge. Nice, okay, I mean, I'll take that. Oh, okay, so it looks like if I can get underneath him when he does that, that'll be good. Okay, so that would have been a good punish. Damn. Okay. There's no reason for me to... I think I've done that a few times. I don't know why, but when he sort of goes to... He puts his staff vertical and he grips it with both hands. I don't know what it is. It's something... Maybe a previous boss where you're... Like, he does something... Like, the boss does something similar, and I'm just muscle memory... like, punishing it for some reason. Which is really annoying. I can't remember if you were around for the dancer fight, but with the dancer fight, she has like an overhead slam in her first phase, and pretty much every boss that does a two-handed overhead slam, you can punish. Like, take Pontiff, he has that, and you can punish it. You can hit him twice. But with Dancer, she has an immediate follow-up to it, and I died so many times. Oh no, I could be dead here. Alright. I died so many times because I just kept R1ing after the overhead slam, so I'm gonna have to be careful in this fight. But yeah, Osiris was one of the first times in this series that I finished a fight and was just genuinely sick of it. I'm very thankful that I finally got the win. It didn't actually take, you know, Champion Gundyr, Dancer, Dragon Slayer armor, they all took longer than Osiris. I was just sick of it. So in terms of what I have left to do, I haven't done Grand Archives, I haven't gone into that yet. And I haven't done the DLCs yet. So does he stagger here? No? Okay. Interesting that he hasn't staggered yet. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Dancer was tedious as well, especially the phase 2 part, because there's just so much you have to really keep away from her. And I'm not doing much damage here. Ooh, where'd he go? Okay. This is a bad time to heal there. Really bad. Yeah, I'm gonna... it's gonna be interesting. Okay, alright. It's good to know that it's a... Ooh, wait, where am I going? Oh dear. Good to know that it's a good boss. I don't really know what to expect. The only thing I know about the Grand Archives is that there's a Titanite slab there, because I looked up how to get one, and when I saw the list, my plan was to go to Archdragon Peak as soon as I could, and I learnt that there was just a slab here, so I decided I'll just go here. Havel was a tedious fight, level 1. I did have a few goes at parrying him, but I don't know. I don't love parrying in this game. It's not really something that I really want to get good at. Because if I do, then I shouldn't have dodged that way. I don't know, I just feel as though the game, like the way you play it, changes completely. But I feel as though backstabbing Havel in this game is a lot harder than the other ones. I am enjoying this fight though. It's super dynamic mechanically, so I'm not too sad about the fact that I'm probably going to see this first phase probably a couple of 100 times. Okay, so that's one of his weird moves that he doesn't often do. He doesn't often follow that up as well, but I got so lucky there. Yeah, I've definitely heard that the DLC bosses are quite fun. I'm keen to see what the DLC levels are like though. So I'm kind of challenging, because this is the first playthrough, I don't really want to ruin the experience of the first playthrough by just running through everything. So I do want to fight all the mobs and mini-bosses. So I'm keen to see, like, how hardcore the levels are. So can I just not dodge? Yes. Okay. Alright. I am thinking that, yeah, like, if I had to bet, I would say that there's a greater than 50% chance that I decide to do this fight with RTSR. I think that a lot of his attacks in Phase 2 are just going to kill me. And even if they don't kill me, if I get really unlucky with whatever he decides to follow up on, he'll just kill me with his second swing. But then again, like, the only boss so far that I've done with RTSR is Dragon Slayer armor. And this boss is definitely much harder than that. I wouldn't say Dragon Slayer armor is easy to do without taking a hit, because he's super aggressive. Oh no, I could be dead here. He doesn't do this often enough, but I caught it. That's going to be the real blocker, I think. One of the real blockers for RTSR, that attack. Does he follow up? No. Surely I get a stagger here, nice and early. See what he does. Anything dangerous? No. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty fast. Has he got anything weird? Yes. Interesting. Really finding it hard to judge when he'll stagger. So does he try and follow this up with anything? No. There we go. Alright. So I didn't quite catch what happened there, but when he does his attack where he sort of has a heap of movement attached to it, and then he does his follow-up, I don't think that I can actually punish the follow-up. Maybe it depends on what he follows up with, but I think that's the second time that has caught me, so that'll be something to remember. Oh no, I accidentally attacked. That's alright. There's going to be an attempt where I get really punished for going for 3 hits there. Okay, got a dodge. Yeah, he has an interesting follow-up that he decides to do after that attack. Alright, yeah. Yeah. Getting out from underneath him is weird. So when I first met this boss, I probably died a few times because he landed on me, and that's an instant death. But when I finally did get a hit against him, it was to his legs, the dragon legs, and it did 48 damage. And I saw that, and I was, you know, confounded and demoralized. But then in the next few attempts, I had a strike at the head. And was much happier with doing over 200 damage. Okay, safe to punish. I am wondering how important the Thunderstone plate ring is. Replacing it with Lloyd shields would be a nice little boost, especially for the second phase. Well, principally for the second phase. Does he follow this up? Yes. Oh dear. So lucky. That was a off-the-cuff maneuver there. I feel as though doing that makes sense though, getting right underneath the dragon for that attack, if you can. It's just, if you get too far under the dragon, you have to come back out of it. You can miss a lot of what he's doing. So surely he staggers here. Yep. So still sort of tanky. Do you mean the boss if I put Lloyd shield ring on? Or if I'm wearing the Thunderstone plate? Yeah, so I was trying to punish that before. That'll be one, if I can pick up when he does that, that'll be great, because that might even be 2 R1s. I don't think I should be strafing left there. I really need to pick up, like, the Q for his thrust. That thing. Because that seems like a really good opportunity to do damage. So that was risky. Keeping a bit of distance from him there. I have no reason to know, you know, what he's actually gonna do. That was barely, like, late enough. How did I survive that? Okay. I feel as though I deserve that death. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I think you are right, honestly. Like even that was a decent-ish attempt, and I got hit several times, and I think I got lucky because the stored roll was just perfect. It just happened to be perfect timing with what he was following up with. If he decides to follow up with something really slow and I throw a stored roll in there, it'll just kill me. So yeah, you are probably right. And honestly, like, I'm not doing no damage at all. So I can't really complain. So I'll heal here. It's usually safe to do so. The other thing is too, like, you know, I get hit like that in phase 1, and I'm right back to the start if I'm using RTSR. I think RTSR would be fine in like a regular playthrough if you were doing a massive amount of damage with something. Like if you had a proper weapon, which presumably you normally would have at this stage of the game. You know, plus 10, something with S tier scaling if that exists. But even that attack, like RTSR, if I get hit by the AoE, I'm dead, and it just needs, like, it's nasty. So I think you just asked what level my club is. It's level 10. If that's what you asked. No, because he's going to follow this up as well. I might be dead here. Oh, so lucky. Oh dear. Okay. I was very close, I think, to getting hit by the fire there. Playing very sloppy. It's also very close to the fog door. Yeah, what level is my club? It's level 10. But the other thing, like, I don't have to change out the rings to do extra damage. I have Warcry, which does a pretty decent amount of damage. Oh, I forgot that he does that. I need to remember that he'll follow up his Calamite attack with that. But I can Warcry, and I can also Resin. Because he does seem to have resin timings when he does his, like when he jumps up into the air and he does his big thrust. I reckon you can resin then. And you could also use bundles, but I haven't. Bundles are a really interesting one. I reckon bundles really increase the amount of skill, like the skill ceiling of this game, because you apply it so quickly. Like I can definitely see a really good, like someone really experienced with it, using bundles a lot in this second phase, like between attacks. But I don't really see myself learning how to use them at this stage. Okay, so what is he going to do here? Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, everyone, like, you're not supposed to do your first playthrough as a level 1. So, like, the game presumes that when you first learn these bosses, you're going to make lots of mistakes. Right? Especially in the late game. So, like, there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. Really confused as to why he hasn't staggered. So that was about to hit me. That was really close to hit me. I felt that in the controller. And he hasn't staggered. I don't get it. Like, even that. Oh, okay. That makes sense, because he's a, like, if he's a... Because dragons breathe lightning for some reason in these games. And, I feel as though I can probably punish that attack a bit faster than I admin. Watch me do no damage here. Oh. Oh no, that was pretty good. 668, you know. Not too bad. And you get a bit of a follow-up. Okay, so I think my circle strafe there was enough to get me out of it. Oh no. You see, that's an example of where I had the stored roll and it was a slower, I think it was a bit of a slower wind-up. But that wasn't too bad, I think. Then again, if he really increases the distance on me sporadically in the fight, that could be really dangerous. Because then, like, if he increases the distance, it sort of takes me back to square one, where I was having a lot of trouble in the transition. Because he does all sorts of weird kind of things when he's far away from you, and this arena just seems weird for depth perception, honestly. Like, everything's very odd. But this fight seems... I'm glad this fight seems a little bit more fair. Like, I know it's a bit controversial, but even Champion Gundyr, if you watch back and see my attempts on him, I really struggle to tell the difference between... That's a new attack. Cool. Oh dear, I've got a heal. I had a stored heal. That was so dangerous. Champion Gundyr, I really was struggling between differentiating between his roundhouse kick and his Warcry stomp. Because they look identical in my mind, that the wind up to those attacks are very, very similar, but they have different roll timings. So what I found, like, interestingly, my strategy ended up being learning how to heal in that fight. Like really learning exactly how to heal, which sounds obvious, but he's a really hard boss to heal against because his combos are huge. Does he follow it up? Yes. No, alright, okay. I'm so glad that the tracking on that seems to kind of get messed up if you're walking, like if you just keep moving. Because I feel as though my dodge timings for that is just trash. Like they've consistently been terrible and I've been rewarded for it. So, no, I didn't. I didn't parry Gundyr or Pontiff. I understand that you can for those bosses though, but I really just wanted to, I just wanted to learn the movesets. Yeah. But Gundyr was a cool fight. Definitely the most aggressive boss in the game so far. So much temptation to hit him there. I need to learn the wind up for that, because if I can circle strafe that, I reckon that's 2 hits. Didn't expect to survive that. No. Such a greedy heal. There's no way that I'm doing that again. Because he loves following that attack up. Alright. But yeah, the rings there really helping. I don't think I'm going to start Warcrying yet. I want to learn the fight a little bit more. Because Warcrying, like, it takes time, and it also eats your stamina as well. So if you Warcry at the wrong time and gas yourself, you're buggered. Like, you're done. So I'm not gonna do that just yet. Oh no. Yes, I don't think I'll be doing. I don't think I'll be winning this fight today. I will. I'll have a break soon, and I'll figure out exactly when I need to wrap up. But I've got a bit to do. There's a fireworks display this evening, and we're having some people over. So yeah, I don't know if I asked. So you've done this game level 1. Have you done the other ones? Level 1? No. Okay, lucky. Misread that. I love the running R1s, they're just so good. They just have so much speed. Oh yeah. I feel as though with DS2 Soul Level 1, it really, like obviously, like if you've played Dark Souls 2, you'd be familiar with how iframes work. And there's a way to get around that in Soul Level 1, which is fine, so like if you know that, it's good. But I feel as though, like you'd know how, if you want to do Calamite, you know, the meta way, and Manus, you see people use the green blossoms, like they use a lot of consumables. Dark Souls 2 takes that kind of to the max with some, oh, they could be dead here, yeah. Whoops, bit too close to me. Yeah, Dark Souls 2 takes using consumables to the max, and it can be a little bit annoying. So, oh, hold on. So the bosses that can do passive damage to you are really can be hard on level 1 because they'll melt your health bar, and if you want to be fast rolling, you can't really wear ridiculous armor, and you're kind of forced to wear a particular type of armor anyway. So you got to use a lot of consumables, and if you don't know that, some of the bosses are ridiculous. Well, one in particular is just stupid in terms of how difficult it is. Like it was, so Dancer took eight and a bit hours, I think, total, and that's me never having done Dancer before at level 1, at any level, let alone level 1. One of the bosses in Dark Souls 2 took me that long, and that wasn't my first playthrough. The gank fights are also very unfair, but mostly there are strategies to get around them, but they can be really unfair. Yeah, I'm keen to see how I go with Elden Ring. In general, I like open world games, but these like Souls-like games have a very different flavor to standard fantasy type games. So you know, you can't really equate the Souls experience to something like Elder Scrolls. It's very different. So I'm keen to see how I find it, because I have heard that quite a few people don't actually like Elden Ring that much for various reasons. And also, like with Elden Ring, I can imagine the question becomes, okay, like what type of run would I want to do level 1? Because there's like 165 bosses in that game. That's a long, like if you were to do an all bosses playthrough, that's a long playthrough. If you were to do it level 1, it's insane. Oh dear. It's weird. Okay, not too bad. Could be dead here. Alright, not dead, but yeah, I just felt as though I wasn't close enough to him. Does he follow up? Yes. Oh dear. Alright. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I have heard that they like to not necessarily reskin bosses, but they just like to put them in different areas. It's so strange that they decided to do that. Like this was, so they did this. They did Dark Souls 3, and then Sekiro, but Sekiro is not really a Souls formula game. So this is sort of like the last Souls type they did, like proper Souls like they did. And it's strange that they decided to go for massive volume. Because this game has, what, 20-something bosses in it? And all of them so far, I think, have been pretty decent. Some of them have been annoying, like Osiris, but even then, I think at least it's a really unique fight. Okay, so I need to be ready for when he jumps back up into the air and does like a quick swoop. Yeah, like this. So I dodged a bit too early there, but I didn't get completely punished for it. Okay, alright. Well, I did. I'm really keen to play Sekiro. I'm glad that it's not a PlayStation exclusive like Bloodborne and Demon Souls. I don't know when I'll play it yet. My main goal is just to finish this playthrough, and like I'll show you actually. So I'm at 83 hours, and I haven't gotten to the DLC yet, and I'm pretty sure I have a couple of main game bosses left. And that's huge. I'm pretty sure my Dark Souls 2 level 1 run, or level 1 playthrough, even though I was doing lots of exploring, and that game has 1 million bosses, even that I think was like in the 80-hour mark. So yeah, my main goal is to do this. Yeah, I have a time for a heal. Followed it up. It's different. Lords of the Fallen is coming out October 13th, and I'm really tempted to give that a go. The preview looks pretty cool that they've done. I will have to investigate whether or not anyone independent has given it a pre-release review. And honestly, I'm kind of tempted to play the first one. It's only $10, so I'm kind of tempted. One of the ideas I had was to do Elden Ring, but do it as an RL1 as a first playthrough. But the more I think about that, the more I don't want to do that. I kind of want to at least give that game the respect it probably deserves and play it normally and really explore and just try and naturally find a heap of bosses. And I don't know how deep I want to go into the whole challenge run thing either. Because I think, you know, the streamers that I watch that do challenge runs for some of these games, I don't know, I feel as though, why would I want to do, like, why would I want to learn one of these games no damage if it's going to take me, you know, 6 months to do it? That just sounds terrible. I wouldn't mind learning each boss hitless. That was a super fast attack. I need to know, I actually need to not punish that. Yeah, this. I need to know not to do that. That's really bad habit. Yeah, I've got so much more to do on this, like I'm not too worried about it. Like it'll take me probably the rest of the month, I'd say. Okay. So there does seem to be a super delayed attack, like one particular super delayed attack that gets me quite often. Alright, no worries. Enjoy the rest of your day, your evening, and yeah, maybe catch you in the next one. No risk of me finishing this today though, so don't worry about missing it. Yeah, one of the things I'm hoping is that I don't get overly frustrated with the DLCs. They seem like something that I'd really enjoy, but doing it this way, I'm hoping it doesn't ruin the experience. I don't think it will, would be my guess, but you know, it has the opportunity to. Still waiting for the day when I get seriously punished by hitting them 3 times there. Dangerous. I have to keep a really close eye on him when I go in to punish that particular attack, because he can follow it up. He does sometimes. Keen to see if I get a stagger here. No? Okay. There we go. All right. So I'm just gonna take a quick break, and then hopefully we'll return for a few more attempts. Alright. So, I don't want to play for too much longer. I'll probably actually only do one more attempt. Unless I get sent to the Shadow Realm really quickly, in which case maybe 2 attempts. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the progress today. I think we've achieved the goal I wanted. I had 2 goals. I wanted to be able to get through the first phase about 85 to 90% of the time, which I think we are. And I wanted to also learn the transition into phase 2, which I don't think is perfected yet. I don't think we've seen absolutely everything, but it's definitely improved upon when we started. And as a little bit of a bonus, I think we have also learned quite a bit about the second phase. Okay, so we'll re-rack and try again. Yeah. He has a few weird moves in phase 1 that it's gonna kill me from time to time. I just have to sort of accept that. Based on conversation with chat, you know, just sort of talking it out, most probably trying to do RT, like hardcore damage, is probably not going to be worth it. Like, I just sort of theorize that. Flynn's ring, I think, does like 5% extra damage. Oh, I might be dead. Oh, okay. So that's 10 damage extra. RTSR is 20%, which is 20. So we're at 30? Wait, hold on, I've done that wrong. 40 damage, which is taking us to 50. And then I think that's actually all there is. Flynn's and RTSR. Yeah, the only difference is then okay. Bit of an ugly first phase here, but that's okay. Yeah, I think Flynn's and RTSR is all I can do. Potentially a clutch ring. No, actually, yes. So I've got to go Flynn's, RTSR, Karthus Blood Ring, and most probably the Prisoner Chain because of the stamina increase. I am really tempted to give it a go. But, yes, that's only 50 extra damage. Oh, shit. That's 250 damage as opposed to 200. If I Warcry, it'll take it up a bit more. But honestly, I could Warcry now. We'll actually have a go at it. We'll have a go. If we get to phase 2 here, we will have a go with Warcry and see how much damage we can do. Usually Warcry gives me somewhere in the realm of about 30 extra damage. Okay, so phase 2, here we go. And we'll throw down a Warcry immediately. Wow, so 194 there, even. So I think my intuition there is that, my rough intuition is that it's probably an extra 20 damage. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll wrap up there. I've got a bit to do. Pretty happy with the stream. I'd say we're probably at the 3.5 hour mark on this boss, and I'm feeling so much better about it than Dancer. It could end up taking almost as long as Dancer, but I'm glad that the difficulty is lumped to the back end of the fight. And what's more, I actually think that the the back end of this fight, the difficulty component, which is, you know, he has quite a few different timings, like it's really sort of like diverse. I think that's going to be really in my wheelhouse. I'm really good at going toe to toe with interesting movesets that don't have anything super weird, and that phase 2 so far doesn't seem like he has anything super weird to throw at me. Um, yeah, like we've gotten pretty deep into phase 2 without taking too many hits. I want to say, when I say deep, I probably like 30 to 40% of his health taken. That is, so like 60 to 70% remaining. So they're probably like on 60% side after, you know, whenever we get the riposte, um, takes them down to about that, I'd say. Uh, but and what's making me happy too is a lot of our failures in phase 2 have been because I try and punish one of his maneuvers that I know I can't punish. Um, you know, like I can take comfort in the fact that I know that I'm not supposed to punish it. Like I already know that. It's just a matter of um, developing the kind of to develop the counter move set, so to speak, um, to get a really good feeling for this boss. Um, yeah, I don't think it's going to be too much to ask. Yeah, because he doesn't. It looks like there's going to be like phase 1. I reckon actually probably has more weird stuff in it than phase 2. Yeah, phase 2 is undeniably harder, but it just has. I think it's just less weird. Um, yeah, duels are usually a bit more consistent than, I don't want to say gimmick fights, but let's just call it beast type fights. Um, yeah. Anyway, we shall return next time, and yeah, I think the next goal will be. Um, there's a couple of things I want to do. I think there's two things I want to do. He has a really super fast attack, really fast, and I am getting hit by it. It doesn't one-shot me, and sometimes the stored roll saves me, but if he does something weird to follow it up, it probably means I'm going to die, and it's going to have to, winning this fight is going to be partially predicated on me being able to pick, um, me being able to consistently dodge most, like all of the attacks, and that's one that I think I've consistently failed to dodge. So learning that one, and perhaps even more importantly, because it's a real DPS opportunity, is learning his thrust maneuver. He has a standing thrust, and when he does that, I'm pretty sure I can circle strafe, because I've accidentally circle strafed it. Like I circle strafe, like basically what I did is I did a really late dodge after accidentally circle strafing it, and you know, basically notified me that I can circle strafe it. And if I can do that, sort of like with Champion Gundyr, that's a really good punish timing. You know, most probably I think two R1s, because if I'm starting from a standing position, that's a really quick first R1, and to boot, he has a really long cooldown from that attack, so that should be a second R1. And that'll be a really good boost to the DPS. You know, anything to increase it safely is going to be good. Probably like if I were to throw a wild card in there, the third one I really want to learn is his overhead slam. His sort of like he jumps into the air and does a big thrust, and it seems to have really bad tracking. And I think if I can stand and sort of strafe in the right position, I can end up really close to him when he comes down, and that also has opportunity, I think, for 2R1 punish. And he seems to really favour that attack if you're kind of running towards him. Like I suspect it's probably a bit better designed, but it's reminiscent of Smo Phase 2. If you sprint towards Smo, he will 99% of the time do the sort of overhead slam attack, and you'll be able to punish it. Might even be his like jumping slam attack, one of the two, but he does the same thing if you do it. So yeah, and there are definitely going to be instances in this fight that I end up with a bit of distance between us based on how he behaves. So that'll be a really good one to learn and be able to eke out a bit of DPS. Because that's how I'd say that the hardest, oh, probably tied for the hardest moveset so far is Champion Gundyr. And even though his is a really aggressive moveset, I think the trick is to really know exactly all of the attack timings. Like like all of his attacks that are safe to punish and exactly how to punish them and where to be standing when you do. And I think that this is going to be similar for phase 2 here. So yeah, I'm keen to get it done. I think that this will be a real kind of validator for the playthrough if I can finish him. Some people count him as the hardest boss in the main game. Some people don't. I've heard that Solar Cinder can be really difficult at level 1, but you know, I feel as though if we can do Nameless King, then that should give us a really good morale boost for the rest of the game, in particular the DLC. So yeah. Fortunately, I think, like, I knew going into this that some of the bosses were going to be frustrating, like Osiris. I knew that Dancer was going to be a wall, and you know, we overcame those. But my understanding about the rest of the game is, despite the fact that it's probably going to be harder, it's supposed to be really good from pretty much everyone that has told me. So very keen for it. Alright, but we'll end there, and yeah, if you're watching the VOD, catch you in the next one.